Hey gorgeous soul, I'm Zoe and welcome to the Oasis State podcast, a space where we decode life's mysteries and embrace the what the fuck moments that make it magical. Let this podcast be your trusted companion on your wild journey of transformation, healing and soul expansion. Together, we'll dive deep, celebrate our technicolor existence and turn life's chaos into pure magic. Hello, gorgeous soul, and welcome back to another episode of the Oasis State podcast. This is a bonus ep. I have been recording and releasing my podcast episodes at 7 a.m. on Mondays. So if you're not already following the podcast on Spotify, do that so you can get the notifications. But today, I woke up in such a state, I just had to sit down and record an episode about what I've been able to transmute and gain clarity on today. So I'm not sure if you have had these experiences before, but honestly, before I'd even opened my eyes this morning, I woke up in the deepest state of fear. I felt like I had experienced a heartbreak overnight that I was not aware of. And I just woke up and my heart was raw and I was feeling hurt and I was feeling scared. I was feeling everything. It's like I'd been sucker punched with every low vibrational frequency that you can imagine before I'd opened my eyes this morning. And I thought to myself, right, here we go. Thankfully, I'm someone that prides myself on having a huge network of tools to help me transmute my relationship with my sensitivity. And I'm constantly on a journey of wanting to make my sensitivity a superpower rather than a hindrance. And today was definitely the training ground to do just that. And I wanted to jump on here and record this episode today because I don't want people to misunderstand why emotions show up for us and see our ability to feel and to connect and to love as deeply as we do as an issue or a problem or a threat. Because when we misunderstand our emotions, that's exactly what it feels like. And yeah, like I said, this morning was definitely that experience. So yeah, this morning I sat down. Every morning I actually sit down and I'll journal and, do a little thing to get into my own energy before I take my phone off airplane mode. And today was definitely one of those moments to do exactly that. And it was just a beautiful dance in learning how to hold myself in such a rawness that I didn't understand. And I started journaling and trying to understand what these emotions were trying to tell me. Actually, nay, sometimes the emotions aren't there to tell you something. I think that's a point that I've been able to realize today is that when your emotions show up, whether they're good or whether they're bad, but mostly we need support and guidance when we're experiencing the quotation marks bad emotions or the heavier ones, the complex emotions. Because of course, when we're feeling love, joy, freedom, happiness, success, etc., we don't need to question that. We're riding those high vibrational waves and just having the best time. But nothing is permanent. We will always have these waves of emotion. We will have ebbs like I did this morning, and then we'll have these waves and higher peaks and valleys. The valleys are low, but we'll have these higher peaks of high vibrational emotions. So of course we're not there pulling apart why we feel like that. And I've realized that that level of surrender for the high vibrational emotions that you're experiencing needs to be applied to when we are experiencing the low vibrational emotions. It's not about getting to the root cause of why we're feeling that. And, what's going on? What did I do wrong? Who's going to hurt me? We get into these spaces of like looking for the threat, whether it's present or future. And it's a lot of the time an illusion anyway. Or we are, trying to criticize ourselves for why we're feeling those negative emotions. So I suppose that's the first point that I want to make is that you don't question when you feel happy. You don't question when you feel expansive. You're just enjoying it, And I think it's really important that when the next time you're feeling low vibrational emotions is to surrender into that same level of detachment when you're experiencing these low vibrational emotions. Because the reason we want to get to the bottom of why we feel that way is because we are trying to understand our emotions from an egoic place, from our ego. And our ego only has the ability to see experiences as punishment or reward. So I'm dealing with a lot of hurt. Like I said, I don't even know where it came from. But I'm there this morning trying to understand, well, why am I being punished? Why am I being punished? And it's like, why don't you just accept the hurt as a positive, encouraging sign that that the inner work that you're doing, which for me is finding my truest alignment and holding that alignment for as long as I can without, that attachment need. My inner work is about becoming the best version of myself and trusting that my 3D reality and my relationships and my opportunities will reflect the best parts of me. And the other part of my journey, which is, it's all like the same thing, and I'm just saying it in different ways, but it's sort of good to repeat that because everyone can sort of relate to, you might not relate to alignment, but you might relate to me saying that I'm on a journey of empowerment. And that's what 2025 has been for me so far. It's a journey of the deepest levels of self-love, building self-trust and self-worth. So when I woke up this morning and was experiencing hurt, and there was no particular reason for experiencing that hurt, it was a great opportunity to remind myself that I don't need to look for why I'm feeling a sense of punishment for experiencing this. And that's because I can detach from my ego and realize that emotions are just here to be witnessed. I haven't done anything wrong in my life to have experienced that level of fear and hurt and heartbreak that I was feeling. That is just part of the journey. When you are a sensitive being, so, women, we are just hardwired to be feelings factories. So we are just born with this innate ability to be sensitive. And I just feel so drawn on my journey to come into a deeper space of surrender and love for my ability to feel, my sensitivity. So that was the first sort of pivot that I could make this morning, was that there is nothing wrong with me feeling this level of fear and hurt and heartbreak that I'm feeling. I don't need to go and turn over every stone and think about past hurt and relationships and play out horrible conversations or scenarios in my head, half of the time, which aren't even real, by the way. So if you're feeling these negative emotions and you're not actually being in the present moment, and you might be playing out real conversations that happened in the past, or you might be playing out future scenarios with someone where you're intentionally hurting yourself. You're creating this dialogue and they're not even a part of the conversation. You might be thinking about, a partner or a connection you have or a friend, or, I don't need to explain all the dynamics, but I'm bringing this to your attention because if you are walking around in this state of fear towards your sensitivity, it's likely that your mind is playing out dialogues and scenarios that are creating a sense of reward and punishment, and also seeking a threat at all times, which is not there. So that's a really important part of shifting your relationship with your sensitivity from a hindrance to a superpower, is that we need to be stepping back into our bodies and into our heart space to feel those emotions. If you are trying to process you can't basically, but if you are trying to process your emotions from your mind and your ego, it does not have the capacity to do that. It can only see black and white, right and wrong, punishment, reward, etc. And that's not the nature of emotions. So that was the first pivot for me today, was realizing that it's really weird that I've woken up in this really deep state of fear. But I'm going to take that as an encouraging sign that all of the inner work that I'm doing and this commitment that I'm making to evolving into the beautiful, highly sensitive, highly intuitive woman that I am means that it means that the negative emotions that are coming up that don't seem to have a root cause, that's an encouraging sign. It's like cleaning out, the garbage bin. It's just, I need to feel it to heal it. It sounds very cliche, but that's basically what was being asked of me this morning. Another thing that I realized from my experience this morning was that, sorry, I just had this moment of freaking out that it's not recording. So just hold on one moment. I'm going to check that it's recording. Sweet. It is recording. So another thing I realized this morning was that your emotions, when they come to visit you in your heart and your body and your current experience, are not asking anything of you other than to be witnessed. And the sooner we can create a sense of safety and connection with those emotions to simply witness them, the quicker they will be able to move through our body. But that is also not the point of feeling the emotions. It's not even the negative ones. The point of feeling them is to not move through them as quickly as possible. But I'm just offering this perspective is that it's not actually complicated, the experience of relating to your emotions, which is building your emotional intelligence. When the emotions come through, they are simply asking to be witnessed. And then a side effect of that is that you might also notice that they move through your experience quicker. But it's important to note that shouldn't be the aim of the experience, because it's probably going to lead you to sort of bypassing the experience, etc. So yes, I know obviously firsthand that it can be an incredibly uncomfortable experience to witness your emotions, but it's worth it. And there's two things that are coming to mind right now to mention as to why it's important to feel the entire range of your emotions. Well, three actually. So I'm going to start with one. It's the polarity of life. It's the experience of life. And as I mentioned, especially as women, feeling into our sensitivity is the power. So if you are trying to avoid the full range of your emotions, you're actually simultaneously cutting off your power. You're cutting off your ability to tap into your greatest power. That's all I need to say. So as women, most of us will identify with feminine energy being our most natural and our most dominant experience. And a lot of women, we live in a patriarchal society. There's a lot of suppression around women. So you might be listening to this on your journey from moving from the wounded masculine, which is a lot of, if you're not aware of your emotional journey and energetics, you're probably, and feeling like quite a painful experience as a woman, it's probably because you're trying to exist in your wounded masculine and you need to come back to the feminine. And the feminine is all about diving into the unknown and trusting yourself and feeling into your emotions and feeling into your intuition. So by allowing yourself to experience the greatest array of the entire array of your emotions, it's actually helping. It's a sign that you're getting into your feminine. And like I said, you're not actually, it's like turning off the tap to your power if you're not going to experience your emotions. And then for men, it's also important for them to experience their emotions as well, because regardless of gender, it's about us finding a balance with the masculine and feminine dynamics within us. We all have a masculine and feminine. So it's equally as important for men to learn how to feel their emotions so that they can heal their wounded feminine. So it's sort of like we're coming from the opposite ends of the spectrum, but learning to feel your emotions and improving your relationship with emotional intelligence is healing for both the masculine and the feminine. And it just depends where you are on that scale of the energetic dynamics. It's about finding that balance. So you might be on one end or another end, but it's about finding that equilibrium. So that's one of the ways, that's one of the, selling points I'm trying to send for you to feel these emotions. The second point that I want to make is that sorry, I just lost my train of thought. The second point that I want to make is that your ability to feel the deepest and darkest, shadowy, quotation marks, scary emotions, and a lot of them actually aren't that bad. It's just our relationship with them and the labels that we put on them. So I just mentioned scary emotions, but it's like that's reflecting my relationship with feeling lower density emotions. And I can reframe that of they are not scary. They are a necessary part of life. And they might be at times showing me where my boundaries have been crossed or where I need to love myself more, etc. So just being mindful of the labels that you're putting on those lower vibrational emotions, because obviously they don't feel great when we're experiencing them. But in my experience with building and improving my relationship with emotional intelligence, the more that I surrender to the lower vibrational experiences and just sit with the fear and sit with the hurt and sit with the confusion, the deeper I'm able to feel the high vibrational emotions, love, connection, everything. It's insane. Honestly, my ability to feel the higher vibrational emotions have brought me to tears and brought me to my knees. And I know for a fact that because I've been able to witness the lower vibrational emotions and love and accept myself through the pain, through the hurt, through the illusion of separation, it is fast tracking me to be able to experience this unconditional love, this oneness, this sense of connection, this sense of joy. And you can't have one without the other, is basically what I'm trying to say. So that's another thing, another selling point for improving your relationship with emotions, is that in my experience, the more that I can lean into the shadows and heal those and witness those and love those, the easier I'm able to come back to a state of complete joy and alignment and oneness. And again, with the whole, I know we shouldn't be setting intentions with the timeline thing, but the quicker, like the easier that I can surrender into those lower vibrational experiences, the quicker and more naturally that I can come back to my higher vibrational state. Because joy, love, connection, oneness, all of those things, they are our natural state of being. That is what true alignment is. And when you're moving into these more uncomfortable experiences and emotions, that's an experience of misalignment. But it's important that we're not labeling those experiences of misalignment as a way to criticize ourselves for experiencing those. So I really hope that you're getting the message, is that we are multifaceted beings, and it is our duty, as especially as women, but as highly sensitive human beings, to feel the whole spectrum. So it's about realizing that you're out of alignment, but not labeling that or putting any negative meaning on that experience of misalignment. It's like, okay, cracking your knuckles, this is what I'm experiencing. What is it here to teach me? Or do I just need to witness this? Is this just an opportunity to love and accept myself more, even though my heart feels like it's breaking right now? So yeah, that's another selling point. Oh, I hope you guys are just liking my riff. Like I said, I'm just sitting down, basically speaking to the past version of me 3 hours ago that wanted to vomit. She was in such a deep state of fear, and I was just feeling so heartbroken. And I just thought I'd come on here and channel through what I needed to hear 3 hours ago, and hope that it helps someone else as well, because it's so important to be feeling our sensitivity and to be owning our sensitivity. Okay, the third selling point for leaning into your emotions and bettering your relationship with them is that emotions and your ability to feel them is the fast track to your manifestation journey. You cannot manifest from just your mind and being in your intellectual space and being logical about the emotional experience. Manifestation is about getting clear on who you want to be, how you want to feel, and embodying that right now, and holding that frequency for as long as possible until your outer reality has no choice but to reflect this inner state of being, which is joy and connection and oneness, etc. So if you are refusing to feel your negative emotions, you're actually blocking your ability to manifest, because you need to be able to feel as deeply as possible to bring in your manifestations and to evolve into that higher, more vibrational, more aligned version of yourself. So keeping that in mind, which is sort of that same principle as I was saying before. If you're not allowing yourself to feel those lower emotions, you're basically cutting off your power. So it's like you should have one of those big fire hydrant with like water able to spurt out at all times, but because you don't want to feel your emotions, it's like you've got a wrench and you're tightening that fire hydrant, and only a dribble is able to come out. And if you're sitting here thinking like, wow, yeah, I really have, hindered my ability to feel my emotions, don't beat yourself up about that. I really hope that you are getting this message that it's all about loving and accepting yourself regardless of the emotional experience that you're having, because that's exactly what emotions are. They are just an experience. They are not you. So if you feel like you've been really stuck in the mud with the lower vibrational emotions and realizing now, oh, wow, I've really been limiting my ability to feel all of these things, it's not a moment to criticize yourself. It's a moment, it's an expansive moment. It's an aha moment. It's a moment to get enthusiastic about your ability to heal and feel. Like, let's take a moment to really think about how amazing it is to be a human being. We have the ability to feel everything so, so deeply. Like, what do you mean? Like, Oh, I'm just having a moment for that, but I'm going to move forward with that. And I think the last thing I wanted to mention here was an analogy. Let's leave you guys with an analogy, and in the hopes that I can encourage you guys to improve your relationship with your emotions, is that imagine your emotions are like guests that you've invited to a house party, and the house party is your experience. So you've invited them, you're expecting the emotions to come, and then they knock on the door to this house party and you instantly feel fear towards them. Or you walk up to that emotion that's come to your house party and you're like, what do you want? What do you want from me? Why are you here? Or maybe you dissociate from that emotion and they've opened the door and walked into the house party and you're just walking around like looking at the walls and not giving them any attention. What if these emotions rocked up at your door and you instantly started judging them or gaslighting them or distracting yourself, and they're at the door like, oh, sorry, I thought I was invited to the party because you sent me an invitation, and then you and then that's the greeting that they get at the door, is what I'm trying to say. So I hope, even though I feel like I fumbled over that analogy, I hope that analogy can help you realize that every emotion should be welcome to your house party. Every emotion should be welcome to the door of your experience, which is your heart and your body and your soul and your experience with the current moment. Because as a human being, you by default are inviting these emotions into the front door, into your house party. And it's time to start being more aware of how you're greeting these emotions when they're coming to the door. And even when they're more complex emotions like anger or fear or confusion, how do you expect those emotions to feel comfortable in your body if as soon as they arrive at the door, you judge them or gaslight them or ignore them? So they're just standing there at the door, which is like clogging your experience with life, because their job, your emotions' job, is just to be witnessed. It's just to be loved and witnessed and move through you. And it's actually a really simple experience. So when anger comes to your door or fear comes to your door, all you need to do is let it in and be like, hey, anger, thanks for coming to visit. I really hope that you feel comfortable here, and I know you won't be here for long, and there might be some clarity and lessons and some wisdom that come from you greeting me here. And I'm really grateful for that. Make yourself at home and leave when you're ready. That's literally all we need to do with emotions. And if we keep coming back to this analogy that you've invited all these emotions to your house party, but then you're not letting them in the front door, and then you're wondering why your house party is really shit, hopefully this helps you want to shift your relationship with those emotions and realize that, and if you think about a house party when you go to them, some people rock up early, some people stay for half an hour, some people overstay their welcome, but there's an open door policy to some degree with every house party that you come to. And when you start realizing that you yourself and your experience with your emotions is just a house party, and you're the host and you're in the driver's seat of how you can experience this house party, how good it can feel, then I hope that invites you to start welcoming those emotions in. And hey, maybe love will walk in the door and get behind the DJ decks and set the vibe. And maybe, a connection of oneness will come in and hold the anger and hold the fear as they're sitting on the couch having a cry. I just feel like the picture I'm painting in my head right now of my house party with all of my emotions just sitting there, and some emotions are helping other emotions, and I'm there witnessing this one and giving that one a pat on the back. Like, it actually sounds like a vibe. So I hope that's encouraged you guys to invite your emotions into your experience and start hosting the best house party possible. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to leave it there. But with one little plug, I have an Emotional Alchemy course, which is a short and repeatable emotional reset practice that you can have in your hot little hand or in your holistic tool belt as a way to support you to move through these emotions, the more complex ones, the confusing ones, etc. And the link will be in my bio to grab that. But I very highly recommend, that's a very good starting point to get to feeling your emotions in your body and basically building an experience of feeling safe in your body to feel those emotions so that they're not all clogged up at the front door and they're actually invited into the house party. And when I woke up in this deep state of fear this morning, I did my emotional reset practice, and I'm so excited that I've created a resource that helps me, but then not only me, can help other people. So go and check out my website. There's a free emotional alchemy guide as well, if you just want to dip your toes in, and then there's also the reset practice. So yeah, emotional alchemy is where it's at. It's how we can, it's how we can basically guarantee that we're going to have the best house party possible. So yeah, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I hope this has inspired you to better your relationship with emotions and realize that you're in the driver's seat of it, and your emotions are just wanting to be witnessed and loved and accepted. So yeah, I'll leave it there. I love you guys. Until next time. Mwah. Hey, beautiful soul. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Oasis State podcast. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend. It means the world to me knowing that everyone who needs this medicine and magic can lovingly receive it. Also, I'd love to hear from you, so feel free to reach out via social media, my website, or email. Can't wait to connect, and until then, sending you heaps of love.